Okay, so we've got Tommy Fury versus Darren Till on Misfits on the 18th of January. And actually, it's a fight I'm really looking forward to. And maybe it's just because I want to see Tommy Fury get splattered. But also, Darren Till is entertaining. He's a fiery character. So, there's a lot to love. Anything to do with the Fury family is always entertaining. Things are never boring. There's always drama. And this week there was the press conference. And let's just say, things got a little bit spicy. And guess who's back? John Fury. He's been in hiding, but he's back. And as you would expect, John's not changed. The same old John. He somehow finds a way to make everything about him. Every situation. He can't help himself. But I'll be honest, I'm here for it. I'm ready for my John Fury fix. Before we get into it, let's take a look at the press conference.
You tweeted yesterday, speaking of Tommy, glad to know that the word I can't repeat on DAZN knows his place, working for me.
I love how KSI had to get it in there, you're working for me. I don't think KSI has got over his defeat to Tommy Fury, and naturally that's going to be the case, and it's his perfect opportunity to have a little bit of power, a little bit of dominance over Tommy Fury.
In terms of crossover boxing, Misfits, and yeah, he has to accept that. I am his dad.
It sounds a little bit like bitterness to me.
That mug had his chance, he's a beaten fella.
So you're my daddy as well, KSI? It must be my daddy as well, innit, lad?
Well, I mean, I guess so, then yes.
It's funny when Darren Till speaks up and says to KSI, so you're my dad too. KSI's demeanour is completely different because yes, he competed with Tommy Fury, but in a real fight with an MMA fighter, it's a completely different story.
It's a great fight. Darren Till's going to bring it. He wants to make his city proud of him like we do our city.
In all fairness, John's been very polite, given a lot of respect, just saying it's going to be a great fight.
He's fought the best in the world in MMA. Tough guy, knows what it is to get him cracked, and so does my lad. So let him go to war, eh?
He really seems like a changed man. Maybe he's been in rehab. Or maybe it's because he knows his son has got a real test on his hands, a real fighter. Not an old man, not a YouTuber, a real fighter. I find it funny that John says that Darren's crossing over to Tommy's world. Like Tommy Fury is some experienced fighter. As far as I'm aware, he had very little amateur experience and he's done nothing as a pro. So don't talk about him like he's some high-level fighter. He's not. Until he went into Love Island, nobody knew who Tommy Fury was. And he went in as the boxer, so when he came out, I think he just capitalised on it. I don't think he really wants to be a boxer. Make no mistake, I don't blame him, because I would do exactly the same. He's made the most of his good looks and his very average boxing ability, and he's making millions. Happy days, he's a winner.
First of all, before I get going on this, let me just remove this piece of shit. Get that off there.
It's good to see that Tommy has found his voice and personality, because beforehand, he was like a lost puppy, and his dad used to have to speak on his behalf.
Darren Till is in his prime, he's 31 or 32, I'm not sure. But
come on, John, turn your phone off. Your son's trying to have his moment.
the previous fight was too much up and down and star jumping, and that's why we've took the Darren Till fight. So
You weren't able to deal with it, though.
Tommy says that this is a real fight, unlike the one with KSI, where there was too much jumping around, doing star jumps. But then KSI says, but you struggled, and Tommy did, with the unorthodox style. And he's now fighting an MMA fighter who's also a southpaw, who's going to be also extremely unorthodox. So I think this is where Tommy Fury may be in trouble.
I don't know how much I'm getting paid. I don't know how many tickets I'm getting. I'm not asked. I'm coming here to obliterate Tommy on January 18th, and that's it.
I love the way Darren is straight to the point. No sugarcoating. He just wants to do damage. He's not bothered about the money. He just wants to fight.
Like, I'm going to fucking absolutely do a number. I'm going to walk him down and obliterate him. I am.
The difference with Darren, he's a real fighter. He's been fighting all his life. So when he says he wants to do damage, he means it. He's come from the toughest sport, UFC. He'll have no fear.
it's different watching me on the
Well, at the end of the day, if I can't beat it, I'll just kick you in the face in there. How about that?
Well, that's not going to happen.
If all else fails, I'll just kick you in the head. You've got to love it.
You won't know
Well,
what's
you
it
kick
yet.
me straight in the face, well, that's it. It's going to be a proper fight then, isn't it?
But then I'll win because I'm a proper fighter.
Well, you're
I'm a
not gonna
boxer.
win.
Tommy's talking, but you can tell by his face he's not confident. He knows he's dealing with a real crackerjack.
I don't walk in a room like this to see boxing go shit. No one in here is a threat to me.
So why come on?
Security, you, your dad are not a threat to me.
Love how quickly it just escalated. Darren went, right, let's go to work. Let's cut the bullshit.
Listen,
Oh.
guys,
There he is.
guys.
John Fury's awake.
To you, but you,
Little John, be quiet.
listen, Little John, you could leave
Little John.
Tyson's name out of your mouth.
Darren does not give a shit. I like his style. He's not giving John no respect.
Little John,
Little John.
Hang on, I've seen you since you took bladder Tyson. Where have you been? Go back to where you fucking came from.
Wow, Darren says, we've not seen you since Tyson got bladdered off Usyk. I mean, he's pulling no punches. To be fair, he's only saying what everybody else is thinking. Just not everybody else is brave enough to say it.
Shut up, Little John. Shut up.
I love it, Little John.
This bullshit talk goes out the window.
You can see that John is raging.
What the
It goes out the window.
Uh-oh. Don't mess with John Fury. To be fair, throwing water is better than nutting someone half your size, so that's some improvement. I don't know why Tommy is pretending he's going to do something, because if Darren gets close, he'll rip him apart.
You know where I live? Lower's House. Lower's House.
Don't be stupid, John. You're an old man. Come to my house. Can someone please tell John Fury he can't fight a young man? He wasn't much of a fighter in his day, never mind as an old man. He's delusional. I would love to see what he would do if Darren was to turn up at his front door. It's not that I want to see John hurt, but he's an old man and he just needs to stay in his lane and give the younger men some respect. As per usual, John Fury steals the show. He just can't help himself. He can't behave. But I've got to admit it, I secretly love John Fury. There's never a dull moment with John. He brings the entertainment. And let's face it, Tommy Fury on his own is like chips without tomato sauce. It is interesting that Tommy is back on Misfits, because once upon a time he said he wanted to become a world champion. But at the same time, you don't blame him. First of all, he's simply not good enough. He hasn't got the same talent as his brother Tyson Fury. And I also don't think he's got the same desire. He's also getting paid a lot of money to fight in Misfits. If he went down the pro route, he'd be getting paid pennies. So it just makes sense, especially the fact he's simply not that good. I've said this before in previous videos. People will criticize, talk about credibility, but credibility doesn't pay the bills, so I can't blame him. Tommy said he'd been fighting with an injury, basically with one hand, well, one good hand. So maybe next time out, we'll see a better version of Tommy. And trust me, against Darren Till, he's going to need it, because this is a real test. Darren trains at the Rotunda Boxing Gym in Liverpool, and it's a famous gym. It's produced many champions. And someone from my gym actually went to spar with Darren Till. And trust me, inside gossip, he's a handful. So Tommy is in for a real test. And supposedly, Darren's trained there for years. He's always went back there to do his boxing. Today in the gym, I was talking with Brian, the true Geordie, and he made a good point. He was saying, if you compare Tommy and Jake Paul, you know, Tommy's fight with Darren is probably the best opponent both guys have fought. So really, if Tommy beats Darren, it would set up a huge fight with Jake Paul. Well, I'm thinking Tommy, but really, whoever wins. I just think commercially, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury is a bigger sell. Anyway, all is good in the world. John Fury is back. Let me know your thoughts on the fight, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and go and watch this video next.